Meeting to order. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Comment, 3 minutes. Is there anybody on? And on. Nick Hutchins, Airport Operations Supervisor.
Oh, just look at that.
Jesse, do we need to amend the agenda?
Huh?
Were you guys gonna amend the agenda?
Is he supposed
I apologize. Before, we didn't get to the adopt the agenda. Do you mind if we take a step back, Madam Chair? If we can eliminate part 1 under county administrator for life insurance for part-time employees. Remove that one item, please.
Nick Hutchins,
Higgins?
Higgins, where is he?
Mick's not here, but Steve's here from the airport.
His furnace went out, so he's waiting for technician.
Oh, okay. Are you up to speed on his memo requesting the 20 hours? Can you speak to that by chance? Okay. I don't know if you have it in front of you, but if not, I have it. It's short and sweet. The subject matter would be to the loss of 20 hours on PTO. The reason the time was not used was because of the lack of trained personnel on the airfield. The possibility of rolling the unused time into fiscal year 25 is being requested. It was dated February 4th.
So this was for last year. He had 20 that he wasn't able to use.
Correct.
And so I take it that he's at the max, which is what's the max?
He's down to 190 right now, and then his comp bank's at 40.
So 190. This would put him at 210.
Unless you guys were to pay him out for the 20 hours.
He didn't ask for that, did he?
No, he's just asking to roll the unused time.
Can I get some detail on how that happened in the first place?
Well, we had a bunch of new people that had to be hired in at the airport. And Mick was the only certified trainer that we had for the fueling and for airfield driving, snow removal, all that. Mick is the operations supervisor at the airport. So because he was heavily tasked with being at the airport a lot, he really just didn't have time to take time off.
So where's your ground service guys on?
Ground service guys were there, but they had to be trained. You have to, a lot of people don't realize that one of the most important parts of being an employee at the airport is being able to communicate with the tower and the aircraft on radios and knowing the complete layout of the airfield. And accidentally drive through a stop bar and out onto a runway and cause an
Oh,
incident.
I spent a lot of time out there. We do a lot of work out there, so I understand that, but we pay the contractor for this stuff, right?
Yes.
So just curious.
Well, say there was,
Contractor didn't have people around there?
the contractor had people there, but they weren't fully trained yet.
So, but isn't that part of the obligation of the contract is to provide us with trained people?
It is, but.
I mean, people expect me when I'm doing that stuff to provide them with trained people. I do it every day. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I get the horn, so too.
One of the biggest issues was fuel training. So we train the people at the airport to do SkyWest fueling. Just fueling your average aircraft that are there, that's not a problem. It's almost like fueling a car. But for the airliner, there's a whole lot of other steps and safety issues and quality testing that goes into that. And they all have to complete a rather onerous SkyWest computer-based training before they're given a certificate so they can touch one of those passenger liners. So that was one of the things that ate up a lot of weekend time and such. And
Yeah, I guess if we're paying somebody to do that, they should do it, right?
absolutely.
So, I mean,
Well, just to, so we took over the fueling
yeah,
last year.
Yep.
And so that's the county's responsibility or the county does the fueling. So I don't know how Alpena Ground Service would be able to train those people. Right? I mean.
Right, they wouldn't, they'd have to send them up to Pellston, and then we would be paying people to work at Pellston to get their training.
Well, the contractor's from Pellston, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. I'm just making a comment. I mean, we can decide what to do with this. I don't, at this point, not knowing anything else, I don't think that we can stiff the guy over the whole thing, but going forward, I don't think we want to continue to do that.
Just another point, just for clarification too, with PTO, a lot of times, and I know, like Nikki has come before us because being a one-person, office, there was times that she wasn't able. So occasionally we do get people that go over and then they bring it to personnel for us to make a decision on.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's easier when you have, like in Nikki's case, when she had to come, justification, you got one person in the office, it's kind of hard to be able to manage the office and then take time off. I know it's not a lot of hours. I guess my bigger concern is that, to go back to what you were saying, Todd, is the training, because, we've talked with the airport committee, the number of people, and that's part of the problem too, is because we don't have the people. And again, we can get into a whole nother side conversation on this, but when the numbers that the contractor is supposed to provide us and we're not getting that, then you get like Mick having to do.
That's my point.
Yeah.
There's a problem with the contractor.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, if I could. Steve, is there a way that we monitor when Mick is clocked in and out with the county, when he's clocked in and out with Alpena Ground Services, for comparison purposes? I mean, how's that monitored to make sure that there's not overlap? Do we do that at all?
There isn't a formal, Mick clocks out when he does do Alpena Ground Services work, because as I was instructed, his insurance doesn't cover him for operating like the snow removal equipment. So when that's required, that's when he leaves, clocks out with the county, and he basically just goes to work as a AGS employee.
Okay. And the only reason I ask is, Jennifer, and correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't there a week where there was like 70 hours racked up or something? There's quite a bit. It was a lot.
Yeah,
I'm just-
during Christmas, New Year's, I know he had, I think, almost 100 hours for one pay period.
So I'm just wondering how he manages to work that many hours for the county, then still dedicate any time to Alpena Ground Services. Is that something that's, you said, it just seems like a lot of time. So I just don't know how many hours then are left in the week then for him to actually do work for Alpena Ground Services. But that's something we can look into. I was just curious if there was a way for that if there was any internal tracking of that, but if not, we can look into that.
Is the Alpena Ground Service contract somewhere where I can get at it?
Jesse has a copy.
Yeah, I can get that to you.
Okay, I'd appreciate it. I'd like to look at it.
I know Travis was looking at it as well.
And the ground services contract, when it was first brought into being, that was before me, that was the prior airport manager. At that time, that's all they did was cut grass and plow with snow. Since we moved into the lucrative business of fueling, there's been a lot more need for more people, more hours. It's certainly, county is certainly doing well by us having taken over the fueling. But there is a lot of intense training, especially for the SkyWest aspect.
Yeah, I guess that's why I'd like to look at the contract. I'd like to see if we're supposed to be paying for the training, or they're supposed to provide us with paid or trained employees. It only makes sense to look into that, because if I bring somebody on the job, my customers don't normally pay me to train people on the job. So just,
Have you asked?
huh? We pay for that out of pocket. It's a great big line item in our job costing every year. So
Again, another question that I would have with this is, I know the last time, I think when we went out to the airport, one of the last meetings for the airport, I thought there was only like 4 people on staff at that time. I mean, is there still, and since then I heard one person left. So where are we with the staffing on? the contract?
We have 3 full-time guys out on the airfield. We have Mick at part-time and we have Terry at part-time who works in the office.
I thought the contract said 7. Is that? Because do you remember the number that we were talking, Jesse?
Yeah.
Because we were trying to do some calculations or whatever. And the next question is, one of the last times I talked to Mick, he said you had a newer young guy. How is that? Is there turnover there? I mean, we've been pretty consistent with the people. What's the deal with the airfield people?
Well, you've got folks that are being paid a wage that it's just barely competitive with what they can get. But Alpine Ground Services doesn't offer any benefits either.
Yep.
So as soon as somebody can find something better, they usually just hang it up with us and go to work someplace where.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What's our turnover at the airport for the employees on the airfield ground service?
In the 10 years that I've been there, we probably had a 5
I'm not even saying 10 years. I'd like even in the last year.
last year. 90% turnover.
Commissioner, the budget for that contract was 388,000
Thanks.
annually.
You're gonna give me the contract.
I'm sending it right now.
I rate,
You did.
Thank you.
welcome.
Too slow.
Tried.
Many are qualified to fuel the planes.
Now everybody's 100% qualified. Everybody's got their safety certifications from SkyWest.
And you're just talking the airfield people with Mick, because the person in the office doesn't do that.
No.
So 4 people.
Yes.
Once they get certified to do that, do some of them leave?
It's
Yeah,
very,
he's just said they got like 90% turnover. So yeah, there's a problem with that business model also.
So if we're paying them to take the training and then
Paying for a lot of training.
they leave us.
Yeah.
So that doesn't,
I think we need to set this up as a different topic for conversation for another day and another meeting. But I think, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think we can stiff them for what the 20 is asking for because but we got to not continue to do this moving forward.
but I think we need a lot more information.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. So going back, the issue is paying the 20 hours of unused PTO.
What he wants, according to his memo here, he actually wants to roll it forward.
Yeah,
So I'll make a motion that we roll forward the 20 hours of PTO.
okay.
I just want to entertain maybe just paying it out because if he's at 190 plus his 40 hours in comp right now, and he's accruing, I think 6 hours every pay period, we might end up in the same predicament at the end of this year.
That's a good point.
Some other, I guess,
By paying it out
us about the airport too.
and by paying it out, we'd be in compliance with our rules then too. So we won't be sending, because what happens if he doesn't use it this year and then there's 20 more next year?
Right, that's her point.
Right.
Okay, I'll
So
make a
George-
motion, I'll change my motion to pay out the 20 hours of PTO.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a support. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. So he will be paid out the 20 hours.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jesse,
Yes, ma'am.
you took off life insurance part-time employees?
I did, yes.
Okay,
So moving on to item 2, soil erosion service agreement extension. Mike Kolashewski, who currently acts in that capacity, has asked for an extension of his contract through June 30th of 2026. He's still trying to find a replacement to take over, so this would buy him that time.
The only question that I have is why are we renewing it now when it expires on June 30th?
I didn't ask him why. I just assumed that by the time he located, so I know he had somebody in mind. I'm guessing they backed out, because prior to that, it was,
Well, the original contract was good until June 30th of 2025. So we're going to give an extension in February to carry him through till June 30th of 2026. I guess my question is, why are we doing that like right now? I would think that, and I mean, because here's the thing, if he's looking to find somebody, then we're just gonna have to, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter either way. If he finds someone January of 2026, we're gonna have to amend his contract.
well, again, when I talked to him last fall, he had somebody in mind for both this, and he was also doing housing inspections at the time as well.
He's got
Found somebody
to do that.
found somebody to replace them. I'm guessing this person's no longer mentioned, so this person must have backed off. And my guess is he doesn't have any prospects in sight, so it's just getting ahead of it to make sure it's taken care of.
What do you have to do this?
I have no idea. Find out though and get you a job description.
Did we advertise for that or we don't have to?
It's contractual, so no, we didn't have to in that. So I did not ask him why he was doing this early. I just assumed that he knows his timeline and figured, he, by the time he finds somebody and trains them, he's gonna need some time, so.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the service agreement extension for our soil erosion service agreement extension through 6/30/26.
I have a motion, extend,
Support.
and a support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, sick time policy.
I tag team this with Jennifer a little bit. Because she's been working on this, so. There's been some recent changes in law that are coming down the pike, are due to hit later on this month. Affecting how we do, paid medical, well, I guess sick time versus personal time. We didn't have anything in place for part-time employees. The new law requires we do. We do have something in place for full-time employees, and that's something we can revisit later. As of right now, the current listing and how we interpret it is we're safe with the current policy we have for full-time employees. If we didn't have anything in place for part-time employees, this is what Jennifer put together for us to consider. I've looked it over. I think it looks fine.
How'd you come up with the 1 hour? Is that,
That's
The law.
the law.
And because, I mean, really, things might tweak a little bit between now and the time the law actually goes into effect again. It's not expected to happen until I think it's the 21st of February. But because we don't meet before that, we just want to make sure we had something on the books at least to make sure we're in compliance. And again, we're going to probably be looking at the full time as well. I'm sure that it makes sense with the new law, but as of right now, again, our understanding is we're okay the way it is right now with full time. It's just the part time that we were lacking.
So as far as you know, you're good with the law?
We did send it for attorney review just to ensure that we're compliant.
Did that happen or are you waiting for it?
We're waiting for the review.
Okay, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna adopt this right now?
Let's get adopted.
Subject to the
pending-
review?
Correct, yep.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and adopt it subject to the attorney's review.
support?
Have a motion, support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Okay, other discussion. I do have a question. Well, who is going to take your place?
I haven't approached that yet, man.
Is that the next question, employee separation?
No.
No.
No, this is, we asked to have employee separations as part of this not this agenda, but all agendas, so that way Personnel Committee is updated when anyone separates.
Okay, so,
He hasn't separated.
yeah. So you're still staying with,
I'll find out, the end of this month. I have an appointment for cardiac surgeon. We're gonna try to get the operation done as fast as possible, but probably shortly after the chest gets cracked, I'll probably be filing for retirement.
You know, it's my first opportunity this week to say retirement is awesome.
I remember being retired once. It was the best weekend of my life.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you well.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
What district do you live in?
Murphy's Point Road.
Okay.
Oh, you live up by me. My district.
You've been to my house.
I retire, you can take over mine.
The whole idea is to reduce stress. I'm really reducing it on.
Okay,
I guess just there, and just again, to make you guys aware, we do have, a member of our grounds maintenance team right now. He was off last week and is going to be off indefinitely. We should know more hopefully by the end of next week, but we are down a person, just so everybody's aware. That's something, depending on how that conversation goes, we may want to revisit our current staffing levels for that department. Again, that's something we can discuss.
For this?
Huh?
Yes, they're out on workman's comp, so it was an injury that happened here.
Do you have any other employee separations?
No, we didn't have any separations this month.
Nothing from animal control?
No.
Oh,
Shocker.
I already have that figured out.
You figured what out?
Animal control.
You got it all figured out? Good.
We're gonna build a building out to the jail
Okay,
and we're gonna have the inmates take care of the animals.
you got this all worked out. You're awesome.
I know. Didn't take very long to figure that one. All we gotta do is get some money. Okay, what else am I got going on here?
Next meeting.
So. Would be March 4th, 12 o'clock.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion support, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jim.